Enchanted prisoner of the East, that's how famous artist Ronald Klayer calls himself for many years now. Once, back in the mid-1990s, he visited Central Asia for the first time, and soon he realized that the abundance of sunlight and heat, the endless steppes, majestic mountains, the beauty of the eastern streets has captured his creative nature. After having another thought, he thought that it's only the first impression and left to the Netherlands, with the hope that back at home these feelings will go away and his life will take its usual course. But it didn't happen that way. Asian exotics was enchanting him, and with each day the feeling only intensified. It is very interesting. I grew up in a small village not far from Hague. Everything there is in order and organized. Here you have something that French called joie de vivre. That is something like freedom. You don't know what is going to happen tomorrow and even in 30 minutes. I was very impressed with this unpredictability. I love it. In Netherlands, you won't find it anywhere. Everything here is planned days ahead. If you want to meet up with friends, then you have to notify them a few days ahead. They have to check their schedule on their notebook and phone. Here it's different. People have all the time in the world and their doors are always open. I like that very much. It is more creative and free-spirited. This spontaneity is very attractive to me as for a human being. And as for the artist, in me I have seen so many beautiful places, so many ancient cities. I was impressed for the first time when I came here for 2 months in 1994 with Bukhara and Samarkand. I never expected to see nothing like this. It was a cultural shock for me. That's why I decided to continue my work as an artist for a year after I graduated here in Tashkent. This 1 year turned into 18 years. In 1994, Ronald Klayer first arrived to Uzbekistan with his fellow classmate, with whom he studied at the Department of Painting and Drawing at the Royal Academy of Fine Arts in The Hague. During his trip, the Dutch artist traveled to many cities, falling in love with every one of them on his way. Ronald is a person who cannot imagine his life without traveling. He traveled half the world, but countries such as Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan are special to him as for an artist. The subjects of his work almost entirely associated with these countries. People, nature, cityscapes illustrated by him in the style of the old masters became his trademark. His artworks are combined in a whole series of magic of the Orient, doors and people.
Характерно для Средней Азии, это, конечно, женщина, двери, улочки и так далее, свет и тень. То есть все мои впечатления.
Things that are associated with Central Asia are, of course, women, doors, narrow streets and so on. Lights and shadows, all this is combined in my artwork. All my impressions are combined in my works. This can be respect for a woman, for a mother, as for the icon. They are the center of my work, and the name of this work is Welcome.
Ну, лицо, для меня лицо Средней Азии. Вот, да, матери и так далее, и так далее. Поэтому, да, вот эти последние работы, они мне очень дорогие.
Different people and different nationalities, but they are all united, because I have seen them, I have met them, and with some of them I had even had a chance to chat. These people are from life. Each and every one of them has its own story.
Его зовут Бобо. Он из прекрасного места, очень красивое место Байсун. Это недалеко от Таджикистана и Термеччины.
His name is Bobo. He's from a beautiful place called Baisun. It is not far from Tajikistan and Termez, south of Uzbekistan. He invited us for a tea and he told the story that he served in the army in Kamchatka in the submarine. It was very surprising. He is such an aksakal. We had tea and chatted for half an hour. I draw him there, and that's how this painting was born.
Чай пили. Потом я по ходу пьесы я там рисовал его. Вот и эта картина потом создал, потому что у нее лицо очень характерное. Эта женщина живет недалеко от Бухари, недалеко от...
This woman lives not far from Bukhara, not far from Turkmenistan. There is a town called Jinau. There is a small population of Arabs. They have their own dialect and language. This woman is dressed in its traditional dress. She has pennies, a ring in her nose, and when I saw her, I found her to be very interesting. She was sitting in the front yard. We talked with her too, and she allowed me to draw her.
Правда, она на русском не говорила, но потом сын вышел, и она мне тоже позволила ее рисовать, я снимал ее.
Of course, I love yurts. I've been painting them for over 10 years now. And by the way, how I visited Kazakhstan, I started to draw yurts. And there weren't many of them in Uzbekistan. But in Kazakhstan, you can see them more than often. When I saw it for the first time, I was so surprised. In his paintings, Ronald tries to reflect the most memorable moments from his travels. Artist is not trying to impose his own ideas to the audience, but rather leaves a possibility to create your own images. Artist shows that the beauty can be found everywhere and in everything. It is very important how one looks at things, says Ronald. Dutch Uzbek artist is happy to share his vision of the world with our crew and explain why one of the most frequently recurring symbols in his paintings is door.
В каждом городе есть свои там стиль, своя резьба там, символики тоже. Это мне, конечно, уже...
Each city has its own style, its own thread, its own symbolism too. I was of course impressed. I was inspired because there is a difference, and I wanted to convey this difference in my work too. Old round city streets, the walls and the roof and so on. Doors are also distinguished by its own beauty. But it is easy to draw a clay, but the doors, they somehow still symbolize something. Maybe they can be closed, half open, they can be a little bit open. But for me it is a boundary between, say, the street and the courtyard. That is the inner life, the people. And it is such a nice, intimate moment, because you look and you know that you can go, but not necessarily you are going to do that. And I always wonder what is behind the door, and together with light and shadow, for me it's like creating my own world through this. One of the first things I paid attention to, it is just the door in Central Asia.
Поэтому один из первых вещей, которые я обращал внимание, это вот именно двери вот в Средней Азии.
I feel myself very comfortable in Central Asia. I do believe that multinationalism is working here, as well as its particular hospitality. I know that there are more than 100 nationalities are living in Uzbekistan. I see that people in Kazakhstan respect each other, as well as their close neighbors. You don't have to love them, you can love your wife and your child, but you have to respect your neighbors. You need to ask if they are okay and etc. It is very important, I learned that in Central Asia. Respect for the elderly. These are basic fundamental things that are very important. I wish that to the world.
Это очень важно. Вот я желаю мира это.
Freedom is very important for the artist, even more than check for work, says Ronald. He cannot imagine his life without art, without creativity. People probably wonder how do artists live like. You never know, while you are creating a work, will it find a buyer? According to the artist, art is intended for a relatively small circle of people, and among them there is certainly at least one, but royal fan. Ronald Klayer have met such a person.
Первый раз я случайно на ее день рождения попал. Вот. Она нас приняла. У меня была подруга, которая для BBC работала, и ее пригласили.
I met my wife on her birthday. I was in Uzbekistan only for 3 or 4 months and was invited by our mutual friend. She was working in BBC. She called me up that evening. It was cold, the 13th of December. There wasn't enough of light, and I thought to myself that I would rather go and spend this evening with people. I tried plov there. There were many people. Her name is Galina, and she is an artist and she teaches. When I showed her Europe and in particular Netherlands, of course she was very impressed, but she said that it is better for us to live in Tashkent. I was happy she said that, because I wanted to live in Tashkent and I loved it there. It's easier for me to live in Tashkent rather than in the West.
Она сказала, нам лучше жить в Ташкенте. Я, конечно, был рад, потому что я действительно, как сказал, я люблю Ташкент, люблю Среднюю Азию. Мне легче тут живется, чем на Западе.
Ronald Klayer held many personal exhibitions. His works are in museums and private collections in different countries. Uzbek Dutch artist is always welcomed, and his new paintings are looked forward to by art lovers around the world.
Born and raised close to my hometown, and I'd like to
I had an entire series of them. In 1998, I started to actively travel. After my first year in Uzbekistan, I heard about the Aral Sea. That it once was a huge sea, but now there is only a third left of it. I was thinking to go there and visit. In 1998, I went to Nukus, and from there I went to Muzhnag. It was a shock to me. Visually, it's very impressive. There you can see the prints of the water and nothing else.
Для меня это было вообще открытие. И, может быть, с того момента я понял, что вот я уже свой путь
It was such a discovery to me. At the moment I felt that I found my own path. I left abstraction and tried myself in synthesis of realism and abstraction. In 1998 to 1999, my wife organized an exhibition in Tashkent dedicated to Aral. I had about 20 artworks dedicated to the Aral Sea, and I brought some artwork about it to Astana. But this moment of time where you know that something has been there and now it's gone, this was very intriguing.
Но именно в этот момент, когда в истории еще чувствуешь, но реальность уже другая, это меня вообще интриговало. В Азии белого цвета, то есть и отражение в песках.
This was such a great thing to show Asia in white colors. I consider it to be the best place for inspiration for the entire 20 years career of mine. This also inspired me for a new search. I started to look for other inspirations and I started to travel even more.
На один только Арал писал тоже, как сказать, мне интересно, и я уже стал путешествовать в других местах. В
This process of creating something is such a great experience. It makes me feel excited. I enjoy it very much. I do it every day for 20 years now. Not every day is the same. Sometimes I don't feel like drawing, but the moment when you become inspired and it all works out, there is nothing like this feeling. Ronald Klayer always has an innuendo in his paintings. A person, according to the artist, must interpret the art himself, so to speak, enter into the open door or open it more in order to see what is there behind the doors. This way the viewer is engaged in the plot, which is unexpected and exciting. See you soon on Kazakh TV.